Teach Like a Pirate by David Burgess. What exactly comes to mind when you think about teaching when I make the statement, teach like a pirate? To me, um, the things that come to mind is what exactly are we thinking about here? What kind, what kind of issues is he going to address? David Burgess addresses teacher burnout and stagnation in the classroom in this book, and how to become passionate about teaching, because not all of the subjects that we teach are we always passionate about, and maybe we struggle with certain subjects, and he addresses that. He addresses the issue of being a teacher who is passionate about the whole aspect of just the teaching part, and the encouraging students to be passionate about learning. A book with a purpose. This book inspires teachers to embrace the adventure and the challenges of teaching. And what would it look like to teach like a pirate? When we think of pirates, the first thing that comes to mind is, the regular dictionary definition, thieves and murderers and undesirables. But that's not what he's talking about. He's talking about their spirit. Pirates are daring, they're adventurous, they're willing to set forth into an uncharted territory and not even know that they're going to be successful. They reject that status quo, that everything's got to be, it's just the way it is. And they refuse to conform to any kind of society or environment that stifles creativity and individuality and independence. They're entrepreneurs that are willing to take risks. They're willing to travel to the ends of the earth for whatever it is that they feel is valuable. Are you, as a teacher, any of these things? Is this what your spirit looks like when you think about education and what you want to have happen in your classroom? What does it mean to teach like a pirate? Dave Burgess takes his pirate acronym, and he lays out exactly what it would look like if you were to embrace the spirit of a pirate, and you would be passionate immersion. You're passionate about not just the subjects that we hold dear to ourselves, but those subjects that may not be as desirable to teach. He's he gives you ideas on how to not necessarily be passionate about that one thing that you really don't like, but be passionate about that aspect of teaching, the immersion. Students need to be immersed into the lessons that we teach. He talks about building a rapport with students. How do you do that? He When you think, oh well, his personality and everything that he's showing in this book is not your cup of tea, he jumps right in and he talks about asking and analyzing. And he makes it explaining that it's simply not true that there are only two types of people in this world, creative and non creative. For most of us, creative genius is developed through hard work. And that's what he talks about. Talks about us being willing to be creative, and putting in the work to be creative in our classrooms. And he also talks about transformation, a transformation of your teaching ideas and the students' transformation of their idea about school. And the last thing is enthusiasm. Let's be enthusiastic about teaches talks about be enthusiastic about our teaching um, profession in itself. So how do we? The book's divided into three sections. The first section is, pretty much about what it looks like to be a pirate. And the second section is about crafting and engaging lessons. It talks about presentations and the content in itself and the technique and the methods. He gives lots of examples through this section. And he asks questions, he explains, he talks about different hooks of how you can draw students in. There's a big question to ask, and it's, do you want to be good and safe, or do you want to take a chance and be grateful? He talks about mediocrity it does not motivate people. We don't want to be mediocre. We don't want our classrooms to be mediocre. We want them to be a place where they're motivated. Students are motivated. Um, there's a mighty purpose. That's when we look at ourselves as teachers, and we know that the purpose of us being in a classroom is real, and that it makes a difference in our communities. Um, he says it like this: we're shaping the mothers, the fathers, world leaders, entrepreneurs, the artists of tomorrow. And anyone with the most rudimentary understanding of geometric progression realizes that our students will interact and influence millions. It's a mighty purpose indeed. That is what we are being called to. And I love the way that he described it there. All right. So we're going to make a better pirate. How do we do that? There are three things that I think he really hones in on in this part of the book. And one of them is finding a crew. Woodrow Wilson says, I'm not only use all of the brains that I have, but all the brains that I can borrow. Finding a crew is about collaboration, about picking each other's brains and being able to develop into stronger teachers by learning from other people and giving out the knowledge that we have. And then he tells to finding the treasure. Once you've done the mental work, there comes a point you have to throw yourself into the action and put your heart on the line. That is by Phil Jackson. Finding the treasure in teaching, it might be different for everybody. But that is one of the things that we do end up doing, is finding a treasure in our students, in the knowledges that we gain from our coworkers, and also from what we give to others. So in conclusion, teaching like a pirate is really revolutionary. It could change how we view teaching. I feel like my point of view is really similar to David Burgess's point of view about teaching. It's in a big adventure, and we have to take risks, and we have to be willing to fail, and we have to be willing to push students to be involved. We have to be able to give our very all so that it benefits the people that are in our classroom. Um, sorry. Teaching like a pirate. Reading this book has changed the way that I really view my role in the classroom, because I believe that I have a purpose, and that purpose is to generate knowledgeable people that are going to grow into being productive members of our society. I hope that if you have any questions that you'll leave them on the slide that I'm going to leave at the end. Otherwise, I hope that you get this book and read it, and I hope that means as much to you as it has meant to me.